Kind of the pluses and minuses of both bikes that I had an opportunity to try here. Obviously, I own the 2016 RadRover, and Juice Bikes let me demo a bike for an extended period of time. So I'm going to show you kind of both side by side here. So we're going to pause the video. Both bikes are basically the same length. What I did notice is that for the RipCurrent, you do hold the handlebars like further out. That was a size medium frame that I had. I'm 5'8", and I did find that I was leaning forward more. So it had more of an aggressive, I guess, stance to it, you could say. Now with the Rad, I actually find at times the handlebars maybe feel a little too close. I'm not trying to be complicated, but I'm just telling you I think my height or something is literally between these two bikes. So not a big deal, but just something that if you're trying to size the bike right, you might want to lean one way or the other depending on your height. All right, now let's get into the motors. Both bikes have the same 750 watt geared hub motor. With the exception with the Juice bikes, it will get you up to 28 miles an hour with that torque sensing that the Rad does not. Which is also why the Juice bikes is a class 3 bike, where the Rad is a class 2. So just a kind of an important difference. That's also why you're seeing a price difference as well. And I'll say this, if you're commuting and you're trying to get from point A to point B in the fastest possible way, a class 3 bike is by far the way to go. I've done both, the RadRover for many, many miles, over approaching 4,000 actually. And to be able to respectfully commute at 28 miles an hour, depending on what your conditions are, slowing down for animals, all that good stuff, and people, it's definitely highly recommended. The Rad is still a very capable bike, still fast enough, so it just kind of depends on what you're trying to go for. Let's talk about the headlights. Now, with mine, I've replaced it with a third party, so that's not the same one that it comes with. But even right now, the Rad is just, you're getting a 300 lumen light, where Juice Bikes gives you a 1050. Now, granted, there's a price difference of about $300 here, but you do get more quality, and I really enjoyed having that bright light on the front. Never questioned not having a light ready to go. Now let's talk about disc brakes. The Rad has mechanical, and Juiced has the hydraulic. They both function well, but I must say the Juice Bikes wins there because the hydraulic brakes, if you've never tried those, they feel like butter. I mean, it's just really a nice feeling. So again, you're paying $300 more, but you do get quality. Now let's talk about the handlebar grips. I actually like both. The Rad is impressive. That the material itself has lasted over 3,700 miles I've got on my bike. It still looks amazing, all things considered. And I also like the Juice bikes. The way those, you can actually rest the palms of your hand, the way they're flared out, you can rest your palms on them. So that is actually really cool. So now let's talk about your accessory mounts and the way those are set up on both bikes. Now here I'd say definitely Rad has got the smartest move. They're both on the side. If you go with the Juice bikes, as you see there, I actually have my bike lock, but it is extremely tight. There's another set of mounts, but I just don't know what you could put there. You really couldn't put, maybe like if there's a side pop-in water bottle. I'm not aware of those, but Rad really did a great job. There's one on either side of the frame, very easy to reach and get to, so kudos to them for that. Now let's talk about the LCD screens. I don't really use them much. Once I set it, I go. I don't really look at speed much or any of the other stuff. But if you're into that, the Rad is definitely easier to see. I did find it difficult to read the Juice Bikes computer screen at times. So like knowing when the cruise control was set. But again, it's not a big deal. Oh, that's another thing to let you know. The Juice comes with cruise control, which is really cool. I did enjoy that. If you're commuting and you're trying to free up a hand or whatever, trying to check your cell phone or something, you don't have to pedal. You just set it and go. So I did enjoy that. All right, now let's talk about seat comfort. You're going to be putting a lot of miles on your bike, and if you're commuting, you definitely want that to be comfortable. Without it looking too orthopedic, I think is kind of the balance, right? So With the juiced bikes, I just found it was too firm, and not even with the suspension. Have you seen my videos? They let me demo with that suspension post. I still found the seat was not that comfortable. With Rad Bike, not only has the material lasted almost 4,000 miles, but it is super comfortable. If you go on their website, you can buy that seat for $20, which I think is a steal. Really impressive. So give that something to consider. Now let's talk about fenders and the rear rack. With the Rad, it actually is optional. So if you are needing fenders, if it rains a lot where you're at, that's an added expense, which gets you that much closer to the Juice bikes. And with Juice, I'm telling you, those fenders and that rack are incredibly sturdy and very well made. It's not heavy. It may look heavy. It's not. It's aluminum. Very well made. And these were just no complaints whatsoever. Now let's talk about the rear light. The RadRover does not come with a rear light. If you want one, you're going to have to get one. Now, there are plenty of options out there. I've got tons of videos on them. You can check out the various ones they've got. With Juice, it comes with one. Now, this one is not rechargeable. You do have to remember to turn it off. I forgot a few times. It just blows through the battery. But it is convenient to have one there. And let's face it, you're going to need one. All right, so now let's talk about that precious torque sensing. With Juice bikes, they have that on both bikes I've tried, both the RadCurrent and the RipCurrent. With Rad, it just doesn't have it. So that in itself, if you want to exercise more, I highly recommend it. Otherwise, with Rad, I find myself just using it more like a motorcycle and less pedaling. Now let's talk about batteries. I'm not going to talk about the difference between the two. Again, my Rad is 2 years old. But a fair comparison would be design. If we talk about the design and the integration, I'd say definitely that the RipCurrent from Juice Bikes wins there. Rad, with all of their bikes, the Dolphin Pack look is a bit dated, and even on their website today, I'm still seeing the same thing. Now, they have made it a more compact battery, but design-wise, it just isn't up to par with what you see with Juice and what they produce. I'll leave you with this. If you're looking for a bike to commute with, I love both of these bikes. I like the fact that there's a lot of, I would say friendly competition out there. The e-bike community is tremendous and growing. And I do feel like the more people realize they save money by taking an e-bike versus taking a car, you get healthier. There's so many benefits. You've seen my videos. I've gone on and on about it for over 2 years. So I hope this helps. This gives you some idea. This is just a sample of what's out there. Good luck. Have fun, because there are so many e-bikes out there. If you go to the Electric Bike Review website, there are a bevy of e-bikes, and they do have different feels. So, I mean, for me, when I got the RadRover the first time, I think it was just luck. It's an easy bike to ride, definitely. But they all do have different feels. The RadCurrent, really my favorite bike so far, of all of the three I've tried. But again, it depends on what you're getting into. The other thing to consider too, I've had my daughters try these bikes as well, and they were, as far as the fat tire, and it was kind of overwhelming for them, so they weren't used to it. Something I'd say is, make sure you purchase the bike for the person and for the task at hand that you're trying to accomplish. And definitely I want to give a big thank you to Juice Bikes, to both Rich and Tor, for letting me demo the bikes for such an extended period of time. Truly appreciate it. Keep up the engineering. I look forward to trying the Scrambler, and thank you so much. I hope this video helps. Let me know, like it, and if you're interested, please subscribe. It does help. And yeah, have a great one. Have a great week. See ya. Bye.